Hey, my name is Canon Furth. And I'm here with Ian. And this is the Invest in Denver podcast. Stoked to be on the
Excellent,
show.
man.
Thanks for having me, man.
Dude, it is my pleasure. We definitely got to give the big props out to Chad Rocky, who introduced me to you, man. First of all, you definitely look like an outdoorsy man. I mean, do all outdoorsy people have excellent mustaches?
It's a requirement, yeah, and a mullet too. But the girlfriend doesn't love it. She just kind of puts up with it. So
I don't know about you, but I feel like mullets are coming back. It does take a certain facial structure and attitude in order for that mullet to be really pulled off by that person. Do you maybe agree?
oh, totally. I've gotten quite a bit of compliments. People, I have the curly hair, so everyone asks like, "Did you get a perm?" But never had a perm before. That's just kind of me, and it works. The straight hair is a little tough if it's just straight hair,
I
but
agree, 100%. And I don't know if you're a fan or have heard of Stranger Things, but Billy in that show, he pulls off a killer mustache and mullet combo. I feel like
heck
you
yeah.
can really pull that off, man. He was mainly like a lifeguard in the show, and I don't know if you've ever thought about that, but maybe that's an occupation in the future for you.
Yeah, I mean, I just would love to wear a Speedo and stare at moms in bathing suits all day.
Not bad at all. Well, welcome to the Invest in Denver podcast, man. Like I said, it's a genuine pleasure having you. And I know Chad brought me to you for a really good reason, and I want to hear that coming from you. So before we get to that, I want to hear like about you, man. I know we had a brief conversation before this podcast, but where did you grow up, and what sort of led you to Denver?
No, for sure, dude. So I did middle school, high school in New Mexico, way down south by the border in a town called Las Cruces. And then as soon as I could, I was out. I was like, I wanted mountains. And so I moved to Boise, did my undergrad there, and it was awesome. Boise's freaking incredible. If anyone gets
Mm.
a chance, I tell you not to visit, but just because I love it so much. But please visit. Um, and then I did a stint in Seattle after I finished, moved back to Boise. And then what ultimately led me to Colorado was grad school. I came here and moved to Fort Collins, went to CSU, did my master's there, and then moved to Salt Lake City for some access to just the outdoors and everything. But Mormons are great. It was just there's a weird feel to it for me, man. Like I needed to come back to Colorado.
Mm.
And so I ended up buying primary residence here in Lakewood a year ago in June, and have been in Denver kind of ever since. And
Nice.
yeah, so that's what ultimately brought me back here.
Excellent, man. That's a lot of states that you're living in. I know with a lot of people that I've been talking to, either they stay in one spot as soon as they know that they love the spot, or they just keep trying to find that specific spot that really calls to them. So, what
hmm
made you, I guess, just keep going from state to state? Were you just in search of that? I don't know. Maybe the mountains were calling. Yeah.
No, it's definitely just mountains, man. Like, where's the next adventure? Where's the next good beer I can drink, and like next six ski line, or yeah, it's definitely adventure.
I dig it.
So
Yeah, you mentioned beer, and I myself am a big fan of beer. And
yeah.
I know Colorado, for some reason, I don't know if it's like the Rocky Mountain waters. I don't know what the heck they put in it. It's almost like New York water, where the bread is
Mm,
excellent.
yeah.
But they find a way to make some excellent beer, and I have not found either a microbrewery, big brewery, what have you, that I did not like. It's like a constant
Hmm.
B plus and above. So, you being the beer guy, what's some of your favorite breweries or maybe some styles in general?
Totally, man. Being from Fort Collins or living there, New Belgium and Odell's, like those are massive, and the the scale that they have and the reach that they have, they make really good quality beer for like New Belgium's in like every freaking state. Odell's is in 20. Like it's quality, bro.
Hmm.
Eddie Line, I'll give a shout out to them. They're out of BV, Buena Vista. Um, Dude, you can just keep going on and on and on. Every month, like there's new stuff popping up all the time, and it's generally freaking quality. So
100%,
yeah.
man. I'm seeing that trend, and you corrected yourself. And this is something that I'd love to hear from you. Is it Buena Vista or Buena Vista?
Buena. Everyone local there says Buena, even though if you have any sense of Spanish, it's Buena. So,
Yeah, me
have you
coming
been out
from
there, man? You ever
I have
visited?
not personally, although
Okay.
there's a bunch of people that freaking love the place. So that Telluride I still need to go to, Keystone I need to go to. I feel like I'm still a tourist at this point in time. I've only been here since
Uh-oh.
August of 2020. So,
Okay.
still a relatively new guy, you know? So
For sure.
any sort of recommendations for a new-ish guy for me, I will take into consideration, you know?
Yeah.
Love it.
I mean, so many incredible mountain towns. CB, like Crescent Butte, gorgeous.
Gorgeous.
Gunnison, just outside of there. Oh my goodness. You just keep going on. There's so many.
I dig it, man. I know with me coming from San Diego, Buena Vista is a cardinal sin if you pronounce it like that over there. So Buena Vista is what I'm so used to. But nonetheless, I want to be like the locals, you know? I want to fit in.
Right. Yeah.
Well, nonetheless, man, with you going to Boise State, that must have been, I guess, with undergrad over there. I mean, Idaho, I've been seeing a lot of people moving over there, whether that's for like investment properties or just enjoying the outdoor life over there from Coeur d'Alene all the way down to, you know, the Boise area. What made you choose Boise?
To be completely honest with you, when I was 13 years old, my father was working up there for a summer at Micron. My father's a professor, so he has a 9-month salary, and my mother wants him to make a little more money during the summers. So she shoos him away to get like a real job. And that summer he happened to be working in Boise. And I went and visited him for a week, and I decided I was going to study civil engineering at Boise State University. And
Awesome.
that happened. So,
And that happened.
yeah.
I guess I wasn't too far away from you in terms of the industry that I got my degree in. I was in environmental geology, so I was more on the geology side.
Heck
It
yeah,
sounds like
dude.
you're more on the engineer side, yeah?
Yeah, exactly.
And what
So,
was your first job going out of college?
first job going out of college, like professional job, like engineering job, or
Yeah, I guess engineering, something related to your field, if that is applicable.
yeah. So I worked for a structural engineering firm in Boise and designed timber frame houses.
Okay.
Did that
So,
for about a
yep,
year and a
sorry.
half. Yeah, you're
Yeah.
good.
Year and a half, and then
hmm
timberline houses. Is that what you said?
Timber frame. So like
Timber
your
frame.
mountain cabins and stuff like that.
Dude,
That was
you
kind
are
of our bread
living
and
it
butter.
through and through, man. In the outdoors and just building these houses, outdoor feel, you know?
Yeah.
Really can't get far away from it. So did you feel like that evolved into your love for real estate, or was it somewhere in there that real estate sort of found a special place in your heart?
It wasn't until I went to grad school is when I started like actually thinking, do I like this desk life? What do I love to do? What are my hobbies? What are my passions? And how do I do that? And real estate was kind of the first kind of aha. I don't love the desk life. I'm sick of the 9 to 5. Like it's not very conducive to the individual that I am or the man that I want to be. And so it just kind of started slow and organic. Like I didn't buy my first property. I did 2 years of research, just listened to podcasts and read books. And it was just slow, just kind of like churning and mulling over all of this information. And so I was like, okay, gonna start buying real estate. I freaking love it. And you get one, and you're just like, I gotta get another. I gotta get another. And so yeah, it's been super fun.
I know with real estate, a lot of people have that addiction, almost like tattoos. Once you get one tattoo, you cannot stop. You have that ink fever, you know? I myself don't
100%.
have tattoos, so I can't really relate to it. But nonetheless, like I can't wait for my next property. And it's almost like that 12-month time period between your first primary residence to your next. It sounds like you're going through the same thing right now. Yeah.
Yeah, I've kind of jumped the gun, I guess. So in the last 20 months, I'm under contract right now for my 11th front door.
Hey,
So like
nice.
I've grown pretty quick. Um, Ton of growing pains, and I just don't want to wait. I'm like, when can I buy my next one? When can I buy my next one? Like, what creative kind of structure can I formulate to make this happen?
Yeah, and your first property was over in the Utah area, yeah? Salt Lake City?
Hmm. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
So
what were the specs on that?
specs on that. So it was I paid 317 for it. My mortgage, I got like a 2.8 interest rate. Mortgage is 13.5. Um,
Okay.
and right now I'm renting it out. So there's a detached mother-in-law, and I'm bringing in about 3 grand in rents right now.
Wow.
So it's doing really, really well. Yeah. It took some time to get there. I played GC for 6 months by myself and learned how to be a plumber and electrician and kind of school of hard knocks and YouTube University. But I mean, it was great. So
What did you feel like you had to do it out of necessity, or did you want to do that and learn about the whole process of being a landlord?
there's been stages of being a real estate investor. Like even now, calling myself a real estate investor, I feel like imposter, like imposter syndrome.
Mhm.
But like you first go in and you're going to do it all. You're trying to save every penny you can. Um, but I've had to learn how to delegate and hire, and I haven't met face to face majority of my team right now. Like my Airbnb handyman, cleaner, um, and like I've never met them, but like I'm just saying, great, you do it now. Like I don't have the time or capacity to do that, and so it's cool. Like at first I was super cheap and just wanted to do it all myself out of I think the wrong mindset, not the like let's grow and scale, but like I'm scared about spending money.
Mm. Yeah.
Does that make
It's
sense?
It does. And I went through the same thing myself when I
Yeah.
was over in San Diego. Having things done for you and realizing your worth on a per hour basis is something that it took me a while to understand. And
Hmm.
I just, well, to be quite frank with you, it did not take me a long time because after pulling weeds for 30 minutes, I was like, F this, man. Like, even just pulling weeds, I was over it,
Right.
you know?
Right.
So
You
I was
did
like,
a
you know
whole
what?
30 minutes of work and that was it?
That was it, man. Not a minute more. I was over it at that point.
Heck yeah, dude.
So when
For
did you buy
sure.
the property over in Salt Lake City?
I closed November 4th, 2020.
Okay. So you've only
Yeah.
been in the game for almost 2 years now.
Yeah, about 20 months. Yeah.
And you have 11 doors. Dude, that's sweet.
Hmm.
I feel like you've hit the ground running, man. It's a good feeling. I started in 2019 and I have maybe four-ish doors. I have a duplex and two single family homes, but
Sweet.
so tell me really quick about your, well, maybe not really quick. I'd love to hear more about it. With those other 10-ish units.
So I acquired my next one as an investment property, strictly an investment property.
Mhm.
And that was in Ogden, Utah. So it was a duplex up there.
Yeah.
And then a week later, I closed on my house that I'm currently in Denver. And so
Okay.
that was like an up and down, non-conforming duplex, but I don't really care. I'll take it. So I got
Yeah.
tenants upstairs, and I was living downstairs in the construction zone. And then October of last year, I went in with partners onto the Airbnb that I have, and so that's again split up and down duplex, and that's in Thornton. So it's a town just kind of north of Denver.
Hmm.
So it's right on 84th and 25, which I think is a sweet location.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so I've been managing that, and so that gets me to 10, and then I'm currently under contract right now for a beach house. Oh, no, no, no. I skipped one. There's a Bought my first property in North Carolina in June as an investment property. Found an incredible freaking team out there. Oh my gosh.
Hmm.
Messaged this dude on Bigger Pockets. Like I looked up realtors in this area and messaged a few of them, vetted them, and this dude was just in freaking incredible. He's had the property management company, he had the GC, he just had everything. I was super fortunate to his network, find him in his network. And so then he referred me to this other guy who I'm currently under contract with on the beach in North Carolina in Topsail. It's Topsail is how it's spelled, but Topsail is how it's pronounced.
Another one of
So
those Buena Vista
yeah,
situations.
yeah, yeah. So that's a quick little dirty, and it's been exciting and learned a ton and failed a ton, and
Yeah.
it's very different than a 9 to 5, and yeah.
Yeah, let's I guess before I dig into that mindset and why you even started in the whole real estate game, I'm
Mhm.
curious like how you even chose these markets. I mean, they seem to be so few and far between. I guess that's not the right term for it, but I guess there's such different markets with Utah,
Mhm.
Colorado, North Carolina. What made you choose those specific markets?
They're places that I would live or I would visit. So to be completely frank with you,
I dig it. Yeah,
yeah.
me and my wife are looking into the Estes Park area just for a short-term rental and like, hey, we
Sick.
just love the place and if we like it, most likely other people will like it as well, especially being so close to a national park up in the mountains and it's a nice
Hmm.
little town. It looks like a Hallmark card, you know? Pretty sweet.
Right. 100%.
With so that mindset, let's go into that, man. You mentioned that, I mean, with a civil engineer job and getting your master's over at CSU,
Hmm.
I would consider that as a solid career path, or at least 95% of the American population would consider that a solid career path.
Right.
Um, what about it were you just like turned off by it or just not, I guess, gung ho about it, you know?
I mean, the structure. I don't love you got to be there from 8 to 5 and that's your life. And like, what happens if I want to go skiing on a Tuesday? It's a powder day. Like, it's just, I want to take that. I want to have that freedom and that flexibility.
Yeah.
Or, I mean, I don't have any kids right now, but like I'm dating a gal, but no kids. And like, I want to take my daughter to like ballet or whatever she's doing. Like, I want to be involved in what's going on and be present. And yeah, that was kind of my big motivating factor. Just kind of freedom to, I think, live life. And something else that I've come to discover is there's so much freedom and like I feel so free to be like an entrepreneur. And so like I'm trying to start like XYZ business. Like I have the freedom, I have that it's almost like that creative permission. No
Mm.
one's telling me what to do or how to think or um and so it's freeing. I love it. Yeah.
I can hear it in your voice, man. I mean, it's funny how when we first started the discussion, you were sort of like sluggish, like, man, I don't want to bash civil engineering. But when you talked about entrepreneurship, your eyes lit up, man.
Yeah.
I can really feel it and the energy is really coming from it. And,
Hmm.
one thing about that, having time and skiing on a Tuesday, that's one thing that really spoke to me as well. I saw this meme or tweet or whatever it might be. It was, I'm no longer jealous of the guy with a S series Mercedes or the gnarly house. I am now jealous of that guy that can do a 14er on a Wednesday. You know,
Hmm.
it's
Yeah.
that time freedom that really
Yeah.
sets you apart from any other lifestyle and, most important currency in my opinion too. Yeah.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah, with you being an outdoorsy guy, I mean, that definitely speaks to me now, like having those properties in Utah, Colorado, and North Carolina. So with a place in Colorado, what's sort of your future day to day when you become that financially independent person?
Man, I don't even want to pigeonhole myself, dude. I don't know. Uh, oh man, I mean, everyone dreams of the van life. That sounds super enticing. I don't know if I'll do it. Um, I don't know, man. It's kind of a day to time, whatever I feel like. Like I'm headed for a bike ride out after this, and just kind of I don't know. take it day by day, but no, keep going, keep growing. I think that's something that like I could say, sure, I've reached retirement, but that's if you're not moving, it's stagnation. And so I want to keep learning and new products or new people or just I don't know. There's a lot of life, plenty of life left to still be lived, even if I'm
Yeah.
retired.
Yeah. With those people that, I don't know what you tell your friends, family, your sphere, as far as like, yeah, I'm trying to retire, quote unquote, at
Yeah.
the age of 30. I'm
Mhm.
just trying to get my time back over time. Are you met with adverse reactions or common reactions that you see with your friends and family being like, what are you even talking about? Like, what are you going to do with your life? How do you respond to those adverse reactions?
Yeah, I mean, I've talked about this for the past few years, so it's kind of normal now to them. But initially it was like, well, then what are you gonna do? It's like, well, whatever the hell I want to do. I don't know. Like, I don't know, partner on some cool new project or, um, I don't know, partner with the coffee shop or like, there's so many things I could do and they all sound super fun. And yeah, I think life's meant to be fun, have fun.
Yeah. What brought you to even get around to real estate versus like, let's say start a business or let's say your own
Mhm.
civil engineering firm? I mean, was there a certain resource or video or something that really spoke to you that was like, you know what? Real estate is the avenue for me.
Mhm. Probably like 99% of America. I read Robert Kiyosaki's Rich Dad Poor Dad. I don't know if I
Yeah.
pronounced his last name right, but
Sounds
that
right.
was it.
Yeah.
I read that in grad school and I was like, "Oh my God, like light bulb. Like where do I start trying to find resources?" And stumbled on Bigger Pockets podcast and listened to that for a few years, read a few books, and I was like, "Okay, let's freaking do it."
Yeah. Dude, that's sweet. And yeah, I mean, now that we're on that, I guess, financially independent lifestyle and mindset train, what do you do on your free time? And it sounds like you're just going to expand that on your free time. It's not like you're going to stop working, but you will have a lot
Right.
more free time as far as like what your hobbies are. So I'm curious what you
Mhm.
do on your spare time.
There's a mountain bike right there. There's a like I just got back from a backpacking trip in Glacier. I was out there for 6 days. Um, I don't know, climbing, just getting outdoors. And I would love this super dream of mine. Like start a commune, like middle of Colorado, bring some friends, like have a I don't know, live out at teepees or something. Freaking hippy dippy commune, but just like doing life out in the wilderness would be super rad. I don't know if it's gonna
Yeah.
happen, but that could be a fun dream.
I picture like a Burning Man, but for mountain people. I feel like that
Mhm.
might just no fires, but we'll just have
Right,
that mountain aspect of it.
right. Just call it Sasquatch or something, right? Yeah.
I don't know if you're familiar, Kanan, but there is actually a music festival called Sasquatch over in the Washington
Oh,
State area. And
mm.
are you familiar? Sounds like you are.
I've heard it bounce around living there. I should have known that. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, that's not to say you can't partner up with them and maybe have that commune be related to the Sasquatch Music Festival, you know? I feel like there's something
Hmm.
there.
That could be fun. I'll look
Franchise it
into
out
it.
or something.
All right.
Nice,
Heck
dude.
yeah.
Let's see here. With you experiencing Idaho, Utah, and Colorado, and even North Carolina,
Mhm.
what sort of sets apart the outdoor scenes from each state? Are you going to a certain state for, let's say, fly fishing versus mountain biking? I know Moab is a huge spot for that, but
Right.
I'm curious what you see in each state.
I think each state offers different things. Um, like the skiing in Utah was nuts. So 25 minutes away, and you're just in freaking champagne powder, which was
Mm.
incredible. Tons of dawn patrols, which was awesome. Getting up butt early and skinning up and skiing down. Idaho, it's not as extreme. Like you have to really search for it. There's one of the reasons it really brought me back to Colorado was just how large everything is.
Hmm.
Like you look at a line, you're like, yeah, I want to freaking ski that, or like I want to mountain bike a 14er, and um, but I mean they all offer unique things. All terrain's different with biking too. Like in on the Front Range, they have here you got rocky, chunky mountain bike trails in Utah. It's sandy, loose, but biking in Park Cities is still a super close and rooty and fun and flowy, and it's all different, man. But it's all fun and it's all an adventure.
Yeah. And staying on that
Yeah,
14er situation, sounds like you've mountain biked a 14er, maybe going down it.
I'm scheduled to do my first one in 2 weeks. We can do.
Hell
I'm
yeah,
gonna do
dude.
Mount Evans. Yeah,
Love
so we'll see
it.
how that goes.
What do you have to prepare for that? What's sort of your expectations going into it?
It's gonna be a hike up, carrying my. It's like a hike a bike, and then just gonna rip down. So I don't know how you really prepare for. I guess you could do stairs, but I'd rather not do stairs. Like a stair stepping machine at the gym. So you just kind of
Yeah.
go out and do it. You just kind of go out and do it, and you do it enough, you get in good enough shape. You just kind of keep doing it.
Do you
So
find it to be a 1 day, 2 day excursion?
this one's gonna be 1 day. I don't love. Um, I mean, yeah, there's some you can split up into 2 days, and it's really wise to do. I personally don't do a ton of 14ers. I like the adrenaline of like biking and skiing, whereas like walking up and walking down is cool. But for me personally, I like adrenaline.
I feel like that's why snowboarding has been I don't know, it just speaks to me just because
Mm,
anything with wheels, or I guess like I'm good on biking, but let's say surfing, skating, like skateboarding,
mhm,
for some reason it's hard for me, but instead I just let gravity do the work and let snowboarding do the trick. It's
mhm.
There's something about that and letting that powder hit your face too. You're like, whoa, I'm awake now. I love it, you know?
Oh
Such
yeah.
a beautiful feeling, you know?
Yeah, there's nothing for me personally quite as euphoric as like skiing a fresh deep line. Just
Hmm.
yeah.
Where is your go-to place over in the Front Range? As far as like snowboarding and maybe doing backcountry stuff.
Yeah, I mean, Berthoud Pass is so close and there's so much there and it's awesome. And so that's barely an hour from Denver from my house. So it's even like dawn patrols were doable or are doable in the wintertime. So you're leaving your house at 4:30 or something and skinning up by 6 and it's freezing like but I mean it's worth it. Like you're there for the sunrise and you're getting some fresh turns in and you can be at your desk by 9 if you need to,
A,
which is
yeah,
yeah, freaking incredible.
I love that aspect of it, man. It's almost like
Mhm.
back when I was on the coast, people would just do like a morning surf sesh, whether that's an hour and a
Mhm.
half, maybe even 2 hours. Just go in
Right.
and work late, maybe just stay later.
Mhm.
I don't know if that makes me more productive, but nonetheless, like my mind and soul are definitely in tune with each other, and it makes work that much more enjoyable, you know? I don't know if it's
100%.
yeah, it's something about like maybe being the first one out there or something chilly, something that like it's that connection too. Sometimes I like to just
Mhm.
be perfectly alone out there, and it's the solitude that really gets to me, you know?
Mhm.
Yeah.
100%, dude.
With mountain biking and
Yeah.
snowboarding, are
Mhm.
you keen on any sort of other outdoor activities, ventures? Is there something that you'd like to learn, if not those?
For the last year and a half, 2 years, started kind of climbing, rock climbing. I'm
Yeah.
not the best at it. It's so technical.
Mm.
So I'm slowly getting better. I want to do some like big mountaineering stuff. I haven't really quite done that yet, but that's something I would like to get into soon.
Okay. What
Yeah.
are you part of a gym or do you do strictly outdoor?
Both. But I mean, gyms are just easy. Like you can go there after work or for an hour, and so yeah.
Yeah. So I climbed for a good portion of my 20s, and I can't tell you the amount of like muscles I never knew existed before I started climbing. And
Right.
I don't know what it is, man, but of course, like I have different methods because I'm such a lanky dude. Like I have long legs,
Hmm.
long arms, and often people ask me, "How did you do that route?" And like, I just reached for it, man. Like, there's really no technique to
Right.
it. With
Yeah.
what sort of led you on to rock climbing?
It was, I don't want to say the natural progression of like outdoors activities, but it's like, what other fun thing can I do? Uh, like, so, but I mean, even kayaking, like, probably pick up kayaking here. I've done like whitewater rafting a fair bit, but kayaking's a whole different animal. Water is freaking scary.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh. So,
What's that like as far as where do you usually go? And I know with kayaking, man, like those guys are suited up for any sort of cold
mhm,
weather. They got the hard helmets on there. I don't know, man.
yeah,
There's something about I myself do not kayak, but turning over
right.
and flipping over, that's always like maybe it's an irrational fear, but it seems like a pretty reasonable one to me.
Hmm. No, 100%, dude. I bought a kayak a few years back, and it was my third time out. I went over something I shouldn't have. It's too difficult for me. I bailed, and my kayak just floated away, and I like
No way.
struggled to survive. And I was just like, well, I'm defeated. So there goes my kayak, and maybe I'll never get back into this. I don't know. So
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like, I mean, I don't want to assume anything, but it sounds like you do a lot of this stuff solo. Do you have some friends along that sort of egg you on?
yeah, no, it's like biking today with a buddy of mine. Um, and we do a lot of skiing together too. Some of it, sure, definitely is solo. I do prefer sharing activities. Like I think they are more meaningful.
Hmm.
Like sharing that space with someone,
Yeah.
and that love for the outdoors, um, and a beer afterwards. Like this, that's a good afternoon or whatever, morning, whatever.
Yeah, with I mean, it sounds like you're a morning guy, or at least can get up when the pull is strong enough. So, with you being a
Hmm.
morning guy, you love your coffee. What's
God, yes,
yeah? What's
very
what's your
true.
poison of choice, man? Where do you either certain cafes or maybe you just like brewing yourself?
A bit of both. Like, so when I was living in Fort Collins, I worked at a coffee shop for 3 years. Everyday Joe's. If you ever get the chance, check it out. Incredible stuff. That's kind of where I don't say perfected the art of coffee snobbery. Um, but Denver's got some incredible stuff. I think the best roaster in Colorado is Sweet Bloom.
Okay.
Up next, where I go a ton is Corvus, just kind of a local shop, like around the corner from my house, or 10 minutes away. Um, Huck makes some good stuff. I mean, there's quality coffee everywhere, man. Um, which I freaking love. I even tried roasting last year for a while, but there's no money in that, so I gave that up pretty quick.
Can I ask you something about espressos? I guess straight up. So for some
Hmm.
reason, I never experienced this before I went to Colorado, but it could just be something in general that I should be experiencing. But when I order, let's say, single doppio espresso, whatever, they often serve sparkling water or mineral water on the side as well. Is that
Yeah.
a common thing? Is that something that I should be, I don't know, fully experiencing with my espresso?
So that's a palate cleanser. So you do that before you drink the espresso. So you're trying to like clear everything you have, and then
Mm.
you drink your espresso, and then no water afterwards. So you're supposed to finish the water, finish the espresso, and then kind of let it linger.
Wow. This whole time I've been like sipping in between each one.
Hmm. Hmm.
I feel that now I get to go on it with a whole newfound experience. So,
Yeah.
um,
Let me know how it goes.
a, I will say too that, I don't know if you can count this as a coffee shop, but I worked at Starbucks for 8 years of my life, and I was, I guess, by no means like a good barista as far as like what you see in typical shops or anything like that. But I
Mhm.
had a great time, and the vibes
Good.
there are, I don't know, similar to what you see in a typical coffee shop, minus the industrialness of it all. But
Hmm.
with that being said, I saw my progression go from a caramel frappuccino, like a blended super sweet drink, all the way down to I'm only drinking espressos nowadays. I have places to go, and I don't want to mess with
Hmm.
anything else. Are you? Did you have that digression or regression into stronger stuff, or do you feel like you've always had that taste for darker coffee over time?
Um, it's more of I drink as light as possible, so that coffee, and I love pour overs. For me, that's one of the things like I like making that at home. It's a ritual.
Mm.
You're enjoying your sitting, like it's a whole ritual. Like you grind your beans fresh, you boil your water, you get everything going. Like it's something about it, dude. It's not just caffeine for me, at least.
It's a religious
Yeah,
experience, right?
it is. Yes, yes.
And plus, that's like time for yourself too. Like, yeah, you know what? I'm gonna put all my effort and maybe your focus, and maybe that's also part of the romantic portion of like making coffee. It's that paying attention to the finer details, whether that's like stamping the espresso so that it's an even pour, or like I don't
Hmm.
know, getting the right grind, smelling the beans roasted. It's really is an experience. So I feel you on that. You know.
Hmm. 100%.
Outside of that, any questions for me?
Yeah, I mean, so I guess in the 2 years you've been here in Denver, what do you love? What do you hate? I think there's both sides of that.
There is. And
Yeah.
I'll be honest, I'll start with hate and I'll cover it nicely up with love. I guess hate is a
Okay.
strong word, obviously, but the snow, man. It took me a long time to even get used to the snow. December and January and maybe even February, it's nice. Like, wow, the winter holidays. I got a white Christmas. This looks fantastic, you know? When
Hmm.
March rolls around, I am dreading the snow. My fingertips are like hurting. And I'm a skinny dude, like I said. I don't know if it's like blood flow or something, but I just have a hard time not walking around with gloves on. You know, I might look like a, a puny dude, but like I can't handle it, man. There's something
Hmm.
about it when March rolls around, you know? So I need
Yeah.
gloves. But as far as the love goes, I heard that back in the day, Denver's scene for food was not its strong suit. And over the years, I mean, ever since I've been here, I I've honestly loved a lot of the Denver food scene. Uncle Ramen, Hop Alley, where else? Some really good barbecue spots as well. Deji, like barbecue. The farmers markets are also on point as well. The farmers they take care of all their stuff. Fantastic soil grown like products, you know? But yeah, the small business scene is what I really love too. And there's something about people making a name for themselves, being entrepreneurial that really attract me to those people. And they overall have a general better outlook in life as well. So that's what I like about Denver. Yeah.
What do you think about the current housing market? We can just talk on houses.
I dig it, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
Denver, the current housing market is definitely different than, let's say, when you first bought your place over in Utah, you know?
Hmm.
Having a say in the offer and the negotiations is something new to me. I
Hmm.
mean, being able to get approximately, let's say, for a place that my buyer is closing on Friday, he got $12,000 in credits for two egress windows and is getting a radon system installed and is also getting about 3K in credits for his closing costs.
Oh my
And just for
gosh.
going, I know, and he offered at list price, you know. it's a pretty insane market right now. And
Okay.
sellers, I assume, are trying to get those quarter one, quarter two, 50K over asking price situations, but it is no longer there anymore, in my opinion,
Right.
anecdotally and factually or statistically. So,
Right.
honestly, a lot of people are considering, whoa, 5.5% or 6% interest rate. There's no way I'd get a mortgage at this point. Like, you'd be surprised what you can get out of an offer, and monthly payment is the least of your worries at this point in time. Just go refinance a couple of years down the road, like
Yeah.
get in the game, build that net worth, and make it like
Right.
generate income for you. And in the end, it's all about like getting in the game and investing in real estate, in my opinion. Sounds like you're on that same
Mhm.
boat.
Amen, brother.
Yeah.
Amen. Yeah, I'm the house that I just got under contract with. So they asked 550. I ran some comps and 512. I was like, cool. That's the number, then I'll settle on. I won't go above that. Threw in an offer for 500 and they said 512 and I'm like, awesome. Great. That's a good fair price. I will pay a fair price for this house. Not a penny more.
That's brilliant,
So,
man. With
yeah.
was which one was that in? Or
So I went, it's in Topsail, on the
Mhm.
beach in North Carolina.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is, I mean, that's smart as far as negotiation goes. And I feel like they knew that you knew the fair
Uh-huh.
market value of
Yep.
the place.
Hmm.
Smart move. With I guess going forward, what do you plan on I mean, I don't know what your cash flow is right now or what your living expenses are and all that good stuff, but
Yeah.
what's the future Canon look like right now?
So Future Cannon has tried to position himself to have as much cash as possible. I think in the next 5 to 8 months, things are going to look very, very different.
Hmm.
I don't know if it's going to be a complete tank. I don't know if it's going to be a lull, but something's going to happen for sure
Hmm.
in some markets more than others. And so I'm trying to position myself to just have a ton of cash on hand.
Hmm.
And so, kind of still why I'm working. I just think it's wise at this point because like I have cash flow, I think, to live, but it's not a snowball yet. Like I have enough to survive, I have enough to be okay, but not enough to kind of keep growing.
Hmm.
So my goal for this year is to buy another primary in Denver and buy a house in Fort Collins. Those are the goals for this year, and then I haven't even looked at 2023 goals. Probably, probably need to do that.
I mean, I don't blame you, man. I hardly look even 6 months in advance, to be honest. It's a
Mhm.
play by play situation, and it's hard for me to
Yeah,
really predict the market. And a lot of people, can feel that as well. It's really hard to predict, especially
right.
when, let's say, people are investing in stocks and things like that, and someone says a tweet that tanks a certain market. You're like, well, I had no control over that. Like there's really not
100%.
much you can do on that stuff. So. Sweet, man. I mean, I guess the last thing I want to point out is you have a badass name. I love Canon, man. I mean, are you legally Canon?
Yeah, Canon is legally my second name.
Okay.
So my siblings and I have musical names. So it's not like a boom cannon, it's like a pocket bells cannon around.
Yeah. Canon in D
Um,
major.
there you go. That's it. Yeah. So my grandfather wanted my brother and I to have professional first names. He's a traditional white man. So that's what we got. Yeah.
Yes. If people want to hear more about you, Canon, and just want to
Hmm.
like learn about your journey, if you're open to that, I'd love for people to either reach out to you or find a way to get to know you better. How can they reach out to
Yeah.
you?
So you can reach out to me either via Instagram. I'm not the most active on social media, but it's just going to be my first and last name, Canon, and then underscore Furth. Um, that's going to probably be the best space to do that. So,
Beautiful, man. Well, best of luck in all of your endeavors. it's a process, and it sounds like you got a lot of good things going for you, man. And especially just being that in tune with nature. It's a good place to be, man. So
Thanks.
with all that being,
trying, just hustling.
yeah, love it. So with that being said, I am Ian Jimeno with Invest in Denver podcast. Reach out to me at ian.realestateagents and YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and all that good stuff. And I'll see you guys later.